What if some of the most powerful medicine for your heart was already sitting in your grocery store? Not a prescription, not a supplement. Just food, the right food, eaten consistently, can make a measurable difference in the health of your arteries. Today we're talking about one of the most important topics for anyone over 60, how to eat for a healthy heart. Specifically, which foods have real scientific evidence behind them for reducing plaque, lowering inflammation, and keeping your arteries flexible and clear. This is not a fad diet. This is not about eating bland food or giving up everything you enjoy. This is about understanding what your arteries actually need and making smart swaps that you can live with for the rest of your life. Let's get into it. First, let's understand what we're dealing with. Your arteries are the highways of your body, carrying oxygen-rich blood from your heart to every organ, muscle, and tissue. When they're healthy, they're flexible, smooth, and wide open. But over time, especially with a diet high in saturated fat, refined sugar, and processed food, a waxy substance called plaque begins to build up inside the artery walls. This is called atherosclerosis. Plaque is made up of cholesterol, fat, calcium, and other substances. As it builds up, arteries narrow and harden. Blood has to work harder to get through. And when a piece of plaque breaks off and blocks an artery completely, that's what causes a heart attack or stroke. Here's the important part. This process is not inevitable. It starts as early as your 20s and 30s, but the choices you make in your 50s, 60s, and 70s can significantly slow it down, stabilize existing plaque, and in some cases even partially reverse it. Your arteries are far more resilient than most people think. Let's go through the foods with the strongest scientific evidence behind them. Fatty fish. Salmon. Mackerel, sardines, fatty fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These compounds reduce triglycerides, lower inflammation, and help prevent blood clots. The American Heart Association recommends eating fatty fish at least twice a week. Studies show that people who eat fish regularly have significantly lower rates of heart disease. If you're not a fish person, fish oil supplements are an option, but always check with your doctor first. Olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, is the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, and for good reason. It's rich in monounsaturated fats and a powerful antioxidant called olecanthal, which reduces inflammation similarly to ibuprofen, but gently and naturally. A landmark study called Predimed, involving over 7,000 people, found that those who ate extra virgin olive oil daily had a 30% lower risk of major cardiovascular events. Use it for cooking, drizzle it on salads, and don't be afraid of it. It's the good fat your heart loves. Leafy green vegetables, spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard. These are among the most heart-protective foods on earth. They're packed with vitamin K, which helps protect artery walls, nitrates that improve blood vessel flexibility, and powerful antioxidants that fight inflammation. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that people who eat the most leafy greens have significantly lower rates of cardiovascular disease. Try to get at least one serving every day. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries berries are loaded with polyphenols and flavonoids, plant compounds that reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in blood vessel walls. A Harvard study found that women who ate 3 or more servings of berries per week had a 32% lower risk of heart attack. Blueberries in particular have been shown to reduce blood pressure and improve artery flexibility. Fresh, frozen, or dried, they all count. Walnuts and other nuts. Walnuts are one of the few plant foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids. They also contain fiber, magnesium, and arginine, an amino acid that helps blood vessels relax and dilate. A comprehensive review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that eating a handful of nuts daily reduces LDL, bad cholesterol, by an average of 5%. Other great choices include almonds, pistachios, and hazelnuts. Just avoid the salted or honey-roasted varieties. Plain or lightly roasted is best. Avocados. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fat and potassium, 2 nutrients that are excellent for heart health. Studies show that eating 1 avocado a day in place of saturated fat sources can lower LDL cholesterol significantly. They're also high in fiber and contain a compound called beta-sitosterol that competes with cholesterol absorption in the gut. Slice it on toast, add it to salads, or just eat it with a spoon and a little salt. Beans and legumes. Lentils, black beans, chickpeas, kidney beans, these humble foods are heart health powerhouses. They're high in soluble fiber, which binds to cholesterol in the digestive system and carries it out of the body before it can be absorbed. They're also rich in folate, potassium, and magnesium. Multiple large studies show that eating legumes 4 or more times per week is associated with a 22% lower risk of heart disease. Dark chocolate? Yes, really good news. Dark chocolate with 70% cocoa or higher is genuinely heart healthy. It contains flavonoids that improve blood flow, lower blood pressure, and reduce LDL oxidation. A study in the European Heart Journal found that people who ate a small square of dark chocolate daily had lower rates of heart attack and stroke. The key word is dark. Milk chocolate doesn't have the same benefits, and portion matters. 1 or 2 small squares a day is enough. Green tea contains catechins, antioxidants that reduce LDL cholesterol and improve blood vessel function. A large Japanese study of over 40,000 people found that drinking 5 or more cups of green tea daily was associated with a significantly lower risk of death from cardiovascular disease. Even 1 or 2 cups daily shows benefit. It's a simple, pleasant habit with real science behind it. Garlic has been used medicinally for thousands of years, and modern science confirms there's something to it. Allicin, the active compound in garlic, has been shown to lower blood pressure, reduce LDL cholesterol, and inhibit platelet clumping, which is a key step in arterial blockage. Crush or chop it and let it sit for a few minutes before cooking. This activates the allicin. Add it to olive oil, soups, sauces, and vegetables. Now let's talk briefly about what to pull back on. I'm not going to tell you to eliminate everything. That's not realistic, and it's not even necessary. But reducing these specific foods does make a real difference. Trans fats, found in some processed baked goods and fried foods. These are the most dangerous fats for your heart and should be avoided as much as possible. Refined sugars and processed carbohydrates. Sugar promotes inflammation and raises triglycerides, which contribute to plaque buildup. Soda, white bread, pastries, and packaged snacks are the main culprits. Excess sodium, too much salt raises blood pressure, which puts stress on artery walls over time. The target for most adults over 60 is under 500 milligrams per day. Red and processed meat, especially processed meats like bacon, sausage, and deli meat. These are high in saturated fat and sodium and have been linked to higher cardiovascular risk. You don't need to eliminate red meat completely, but shifting toward fish, chicken, beans, and plant proteins is a smart move. Rather than thinking about individual foods, many cardiologists recommend thinking in patterns, specifically the Mediterranean diet or the MIND diet. The Mediterranean diet emphasizes exactly what we've been talking about: olive oil, fish, vegetables, legumes, fruits, nuts, whole grains, and moderate amounts of dairy and poultry, with red meat and sweets as occasional treats. In the landmark PREDIME study, people who followed this diet had a 30% reduction in major cardiovascular events. That is enormous, comparable to what some medications achieve. The MIND diet adds a specific focus on brain-healthy foods, particularly leafy greens and berries, and has been shown to reduce both heart disease and cognitive decline. These aren't extreme diets. They're built around real, enjoyable food, and they have decades of research behind them. So how do you actually put this into practice? Here are 5 simple starting points. 1. Make one swap this week. Replace butter with olive oil. Swap chips for a handful of walnuts. Add a handful of spinach to something you already eat. Small changes stack up over time. 2. Aim for color on your plate. If your plate is colorful, reds, greens, purples, oranges, it's probably heart healthy. Beige and brown plates tend to be the problem. 3. Eat fish twice a week. Set a recurring reminder if you need to. Salmon, sardines, or mackerel, grilled, baked, or canned all work. 4. Replace sugary drinks. Swap soda or juice for water, sparkling water, or green tea. This single change can have a meaningful impact on inflammation and triglycerides. 5. Don't make IT perfect, make IT consistent. You don't need to eat like a cardiologist every single meal. What matters is the overall pattern over weeks and months, not any single day. Your arteries have been working for you every single second of your life. They're worth taking care of. And the beautiful thing is, food is something you have real control over. You don't need a prescription. You don't need expensive supplements. You just need to make a few thoughtful choices, consistently, at the grocery store and at the dinner table. The science is clear. The right foods reduce inflammation, lower cholesterol, improve blood vessel flexibility, and yes, they can help slow or even partially reverse arterial plaque buildup. Start simple. Start today. Even one better choice this week puts you on the right path. If this video was helpful, please share it with someone you care about, especially anyone dealing with high blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart health concerns. And as always, please talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian before making significant changes to your diet. Everyone's body is different, medications interact with foods, and personalized advice from your healthcare team is irreplaceable. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.